Saul Karath stands as one of the most critical and impactful figures in the context of the Sith fleet and the Star Forge, his actions being pivotal to the ultimate rise of the Sith Empire during the events of Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic. His role as both a military tactician and a commander within the Sith hierarchy places him in a position of immense significance, particularly in the broader strategy to destabilize the Republic. His decisions not only demonstrate his capabilities as a leader, but also highlight his moral dissent, loyalty to Darth Malak, and the devastating consequences of his betrayal. Before Saul Karath's defection to the Sith Empire, he served as an admiral in the Republic Navy, trusted and revered for his skills in battle and his strategic insight. His reputation as a brilliant naval officer positioned him as a respected figure, one who commanded loyalty from his subordinates and admiration from his peers. Karath was instrumental in several key Republic victories, and it was this level of trust placed in him that made his eventual betrayal all the more devastating. The turning point came when he defected to the Sith, a decision rooted in a combination of pragmatism and opportunism, as well as his alignment with the vision and power offered by the Sith under Darth Malak. Saul Karath's betrayal marks one of the most catastrophic blows dealt to the Republic, both militarily and psychologically. His knowledge of the Republic's fleet structures, protocols, and strategies gave the Sith a critical advantage, effectively dismantling the Republic's defenses. His actions facilitated the Sith fleet's ability to carry out devastating attacks, including the infamous bombardment of Telos 4, an event that would stain Karath's legacy as one of ruthless brutality. The destruction of Telos 4 was not only a demonstration of the Sith Empire's overwhelming might, but also a symbol of Karath's loyalty to the Sith cause. It showcased his willingness to commit atrocities in the name of conquest, leaving behind any vestige of the man who once fought for the Republic. The Star Forge itself serves as the linchpin of the Sith Empire's dominance, and Saul Karath's role within this context is inseparable from its success. The Star Forge, a massive and ancient Rakatan superweapon, possessed the capability to produce ships, droids, and weapons at an exponential rate. It was through this near-limitless resource that the Sith fleet grew to become a formidable force, capable of overwhelming the Republic's dwindling defenses. Karath, as a key admiral within Malak's fleet, played an essential part in coordinating the Star Forge's resources and integrating them into the Sith war machine. His strategic genius ensured that the newly produced ships and fleets were deployed effectively, leading to a series of crippling defeats for the Republic across multiple systems. The connection between Saul Karath and the Star Forge highlights a broader theme of power and its corruptive influence. The Star Forge, fueled by the dark side of the Force, had a profound effect on those who came into its orbit, amplifying ambition, greed, and cruelty. In Karath's case, his loyalty to Malak and the Sith cause seemed to deepen the more entrenched he became within the Sith hierarchy. His actions became increasingly ruthless, reflecting the moral decay often associated with those who serve under the influence of the dark side. While Saul Karath was not a Force user himself, his proximity to the Star Forge and its resources effectively positioned him as a conduit for the Sith's dark ambitions. Saul Karath's leadership of the Sith fleet was marked by calculated aggression and a relentless pursuit of victory. His tactical acumen enabled the Sith to execute devastating campaigns that left entire systems in ruin. Under his command, the Sith fleet became a tool of terror and domination, systematically dismantling the Republic's capacity to fight back. Karath's understanding of naval warfare, coupled with his intimate knowledge of Republic tactics, made him a uniquely dangerous adversary. This was further exacerbated by the Republic's inability to counter the sheer scale of the fleets being produced by the Star Forge. Karath's role was not merely that of a figurehead. He was an active participant in the Sith's military campaigns, personally overseeing operations that resulted in untold devastation. One of the most notable aspects of Saul Karath's character is the manner in which his betrayal becomes deeply personal for certain individuals, particularly Karth Onasai. Karth, a loyal Republic soldier, viewed Karath as a mentor and trusted leader, which made Karath's defection and subsequent actions all the more painful. The destruction of Telos 4, which resulted in the death of Karth's family and the loss of his homeworld, was a direct consequence of Karath's orders. This event cements Karath's role as not only a military threat, but also as a symbol of personal betrayal and loss. The dynamic between Karath and Carth Onasai serves to underscore the human cost of Karath's actions, turning him into a figure of hatred and a representation of the Sith's moral corruption. Despite his undeniable effectiveness as a military leader, Saul Karath's ultimate downfall lies in his loyalty to Darth Malak and his inability to anticipate the Republic's resurgence. As the Sith Empire grew increasingly reliant on the Star Forge, Karath's strategies became less about innovation and more about overwhelming force. This reliance on the Star Forge, while initially an advantage, ultimately proved to be a vulnerability. The Republic, aided by the actions of Revan and their allies, began to turn the tide against the Sith, exploiting weaknesses in their overextended fleets and uncovering the secrets of the Star Forge. Karath's inability to foresee these developments highlights the limitations of his approach, as well as the inherent instability of the Sith Empire's reliance on a singular source of power. Saul Karath's eventual death at the hands of the player and their allies serves as both a personal and symbolic victory. His demise is not merely the elimination of a military leader, but the culmination of a long-standing pursuit for justice, particularly for Carth Onasai. The confrontation with Karath reveals the depths of his conviction and his unwavering loyalty to Malak, even in the face of death. Karath's final moments reflect his belief in the Sith cause, as well as his willingness to accept the consequences of his actions. His death, while a significant blow to the Sith fleet's leadership, does not undo the devastation he wrought, leaving behind a legacy defined by betrayal, destruction, and moral compromise. The story of Saul Karath and his role in the rise of the Sith fleet and the Star Forge ultimately serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked ambition and the seductive nature of power. Karath's transformation from a respected Republic admiral to a ruthless Sith commander underscores the thin line between heroism and villainy, particularly in times of war. His betrayal and subsequent actions highlight the fragility of loyalty and the ease with which ideals can be corrupted. At the same time, his tactical brilliance and effectiveness as a leader cannot be denied, as he played a critical role in the Sith Empire's early successes. Saul Karath's role within the Sith fleet and the larger framework of the Star Forge reveals a man whose motivations and decisions resonate deeply within the narrative of the Sith's rise. While he was an architect of destruction, his actions were not solely driven by blind loyalty or mindless aggression. Instead, his betrayal and alignment with Darth Malak reflect a calculated shift in allegiance, grounded in the belief that the Republic was a failing institution. For Saul Karath, the Sith Empire represented not just power but a chance for order, albeit a brutal and uncompromising one. In this regard, his decisions carry a complex duality. He was not simply a monster but rather a man who rationalized his actions under the guise of greater purpose, even as those choices carried untold consequences for the galaxy. Karath's embrace of the Sith cause highlights a recurring theme in Knights of the Old Republic: the nature of loyalty and the consequences of betrayal. For years, the Republic had relied upon Karath as a cornerstone of its defense, trusting in his strategic brilliance and leadership. His defection to Malak, therefore, became a microcosm of the Republic's broader vulnerability during the Jedi Civil War. It wasn't just battles and systems that the Republic lost during this period, but also key individuals, whose expertise and disillusionment fueled the Sith war machine. Saul Karath's transition from Republic hero to Sith enforcer speaks to this deeper crisis, as his departure symbolized the erosion of faith in the Republic's ideals among its most competent leaders. This reality forces one to confront the uncomfortable truth that even those who appear steadfast can falter when faced with power, ambition, or perceived inevitability. The destruction of Telos 4 remains one of the most significant events tied to Saul Karath and serves as the centerpiece of his moral decline. The orbital bombardment of Telos 4 was not only a tactical strike but an act of sheer devastation, designed to showcase the Sith fleet's overwhelming might and Karath's willingness to use it as a weapon of fear. This event serves two critical narrative purposes. First, it solidifies Karath as a figure of profound ruthlessness, someone willing to commit mass murder in pursuit of military objectives. Second, it personalizes the conflict by connecting his actions directly to Carth Onasai, turning Karath into more than just a military adversary. For Carth, Saul Karath's betrayal is both professional and deeply personal. The destruction of his homeworld and the loss of his family serve as a constant reminder of Karath's role in his suffering, transforming Karath into a target of both vengeance and justice. In the broader scope of the Sith fleet's operations, Saul Karath's role as an admiral ensured that the fleet operated with a degree of coordination and efficiency that the Republic struggled to match. The Sith fleet, bolstered by the Star Forge's endless production capabilities, was an unstoppable force under Karath's guidance. His expertise allowed the Sith to exploit weaknesses in the Republic's defenses, leading to numerous critical victories across the galaxy. Karath's strategies relied on overwhelming firepower and speed, pressing the Republic into a defensive position from which it could scarcely recover. It is important to note, however, that while Karath was a brilliant tactician, his reliance on the Star Forge was emblematic of the Sith Empire's broader hubris. The belief that the Star Forge's limitless production would ensure victory blinded Karath and others within the Sith hierarchy to the potential vulnerabilities of their strategy. This overconfidence would later prove to be their undoing. Saul Karath's eventual confrontation with Revan and the player serves as the culmination of his arc, bringing his story to a decisive end. By this point, Karath has fully embraced his role within the Sith Empire, demonstrating an unwavering loyalty to Malak and a complete disregard for the Republic he once served. The confrontation on the Leviathan is a moment of reckoning, not only for the Republic's broader fight against the Sith but also for Carth Onasi, whose quest for justice reaches its climax. The exchange between Karath and Carth in these final moments is charged with emotion, as Karath's cold acknowledgement of his actions solidifies him as a man devoid of regret. His death at the hands of Revan and their allies is a symbolic victory, representing not only the defeat of a key Sith figure, but also a measure of justice for the countless lives lost under his command. Despite his death, Saul Karath's legacy lingers in the aftermath of the Jedi Civil War. His actions as a commander within the Sith fleet and his role in leveraging the Star Forge's power leave an indelible mark on the galaxy. The destruction he orchestrated, particularly the bombardment of Telos IV, remains a chilling reminder of the cost of unchecked ambition and the devastating consequences of betrayal. At the same time, Karath's story highlights the fragility of loyalty and the ease with which individuals can be swayed by power and ideology. His transformation from Republic hero to Sith commander underscores the moral complexities of war, where the lines between heroism and villainy often blur. Ultimately, Saul Karath's critical role in the Sith fleet and his connection to the Star Forge cannot be overstated. His defection, leadership, and strategic brilliance enabled the Sith to achieve dominance during the Jedi Civil War, pushing the Republic to the brink of collapse. Yet, his reliance on the Star Forge and his belief in the inevitability of Sith victory proved to be his greatest weakness, as it blinded him to the Republic's resilience and the efforts of those who would oppose the Sith. His story serves as a powerful exploration of betrayal, loyalty, and the corruptive influence of power, leaving behind a legacy defined by destruction and moral compromise.